So today is the second day of CTIA. I want to go over a couple of things from the show and a couple of things from the associated events. So first thing I noticed walking onto the CTIA floor, because again, this is my second day in Vegas, but my first day at the actual CTIA event. I don't think a lot of you people at these booths know what you do. Or at the very least, I don't think the people who are marketing you know what you do. But for a good amount of you, I don't think you know what you do. And this presents a problem because you're renting a booth to try to get my attention, to try to get people to notice that you exist. And let me tell you something, other people weren't really saying anything because I think a lot of people may have felt insecure about, them not knowing things or looking stupid. But I'm not one of those people. I'm always okay with the idea that I may look stupid. So, when you have a booth that says something like communication, scalability, portability, security, customer service, 24/7, I don't know what the fuck you are trying to sell me, and I have no goddamn idea what industry you're in. And people will say, oh, wireless, duh. Wireless what? Like wireless cordless phones, wireless pagers for hookers. What the fuck is it that you actually do? What do you actually sell? And how in God's name am I supposed to know based on the crap? This is sheer just crap and buzzwords and bullshit that is on your poster, what it is you do. And you may think that this cryptic pile of horseshit actually it's going to make sense to the people that you want it to make sense to, the specific niche targeted 1% audience that it's going to make sense. And to that, I have two statements, two questions. I'm not sure. I drank too much and it's 1 in the morning. Number one, if there is such a very small niche that you fill, why are you at a general trade show? And secondly, do you not think that other people may know the people that you want to meet? So if I actually knew what the fuck it is that you did, maybe I could tell other people, hey, I saw this at the show, instead of saying, hey, yeah, I saw 5 or 10 interesting booths at the show, and the rest of them just seemed like a bunch of cryptic bullshit. And I'm exaggerating on the number, but there were a good amount of them where I had no idea what they did. And then I go up to the booth, and the booth babe, or booth dick, depending, but admittedly, booth babes outnumber booth dicks by a lot at CTIA. Booth babes are women that don't really know what the fuck they're talking about, that just look really hot. And booth dicks are men that don't know anything about the product. They just look really hot and sexy and bulky so that you'll look at the booth pretty much if you don't know how that works. But I digress. I'll go over in the booth. I don't expect the booth babe or the booth dick to have a fucking clue what they're talking about. But when they call somebody over and they really can't explain to me what it is they do, you have a serious problem because you paid some good rent for this and it's going completely to waste. Again, you need to figure out how to get my attention. You need to know what your strategy is. You need to know what you actually sell. And above all, you need to know how to promote what you sell by figuring out in a basic method how to even get across what it is that you do. If what you do is so cryptic that you cannot explain it in a 10-word sentence, then you have a serious problem and you need more help than what you are going to be able to get by renting a booth at CTIA. That was the first thing off the bat that I noticed. The second thing, our industry has apparently reached critical mass because they are using 32-year-old models with 16-year-old tits to sell iPhone screens, which is just ridiculous. Again, I posted some picture to Instagram that I'm probably going to get some shit for. It says something like, iPhone screens are not the only fake hardware at this booth. But seriously, I mean, I don't know why it bothers me because I'm used to having, fake tits and just sex thrown in my face to try to sell everything. People know that if you have a cute woman try to sell something to a male audience, that often it wins. And for some reason, I've just come to accept that basic fact in my regular life. But there was some part of me that I didn't even know existed that just kind of enjoyed that wasn't being taken advantage of or exploited for this industry. There was a part of me that enjoyed that you tried to sell on quality. If you couldn't sell on quality because it sucked, you tried to sell on price. And if you couldn't sell on either, maybe you tried to sell on speed or something else. But now, like, if you can't sell on all the above, I guess you just sell on tits because, hey, it attracts people. And again, that just kind of makes me sad because, I just like to think we're better than that. Even if most men aren't, I like to think that I make decisions based on that. I'm still buying my iPhone parts from Jack Telecom, even though they cost 20% more than they do from the 32-year-old woman with the 16-year-old tits. But That was another thing that just kind of got to me. Again, I get when they're trying to sell everything else at the show using that, but when you get to my particular industry and you're trying to sell that, that just sucked. I guess that was my only impression of that. And I gotta say, I did get to meet a couple of more interesting people. I met one person who was explaining to me while incredibly intoxicated, I run a shop that does this. This is the customer base I have. I know I will never need to get the skill set that you have, so I want to outsource this. And I go do you advertise it? And he's like, I know my business. I know I'm never going to have this much work. And I'm just thinking, and the guy is clearly intoxicated enough to the point where I'm not going to get anything across, so I just don't even bother. I just go, Because again, sometimes in life you may think that it's important that you explain yourself and that you prove your point and that you win. But a lot of the times it's really just important for you to just do the Or if it's online, sometimes it's just important to hit delete, delete, delete. Because sometimes you really just get sick and tired of dealing with stupid crap and stupid people and people who just say things that are just so outlandishly untrue and bullshit that you just wind up saying things that, even though they're right and they come from the right place, they come out wrong and mean and irritating because you're irritated at just the sheer stupidity of it. And I'm listening to this and I'm just thinking to myself as this person explaining, I know I'm never going to get this level of repairs. I'm never going to get more than a couple of these a month, so I just need to find somebody to send them to. Okay, that's great. I'm glad you have such a defeatist attitude. Because with that attitude, you're right. You are never going to get more per month. You are never going to have more than 2 repairs per month for this specific device and a specific service, which, by the way, you should have no problem getting 2 a day of, 2 an hour if you advertise it, regardless of what country you're in. Because of your defeatist mindset. You have given up before you even fucking started, and that just makes me sad. And again, this is work that I don't even do. It's work I could do, but work I don't want to spend the time on. It's some kind of iPhone board, U3, U2, U1, whatever the fuck it is, motherboard repair chip crap. I don't, as you know if you watch this channel, I have too many laptop boards to do to spend any time fucking with iPhone and iPad boards. Even there is money in it, it's just money that, again, I'm letting you guys get because I don't have the time for it. And I'm listening to this guy just go on and on about how he knows he's never going to get this. He knows he's never going to get it. And you know what good does stubbornness do you if it's negative? Again, if you're stubborn and you're kind of wrong, but it's in a positive direction, I wish the best for you. But again, I always wish the best for you. You should wish the best to yourself. And if you're going to be stubborn, at the very least, let it be in a positive direction. But this stubbornness in the negative direction, I know I'm never going to get this much. I know it's not worth investing in myself to learn it. I know it's not worth investing in the tools. I know it's not worth learning. Well, great. So you just said it's not worth investing in yourself. It's not worth investing in tools. It's not worth learning something new. And it's just not even worth advertising or doing. Great. How do you even run a repair business? And even if this was something I did, let me tell you right now, I wouldn't work with this person. I wouldn't. It has nothing to do with the fact that he was drunk. I was probably more drunk than he was. But, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the defeatist mindset. As I've said in other videos, I want to work with the people who realize that when they spend more on infrastructure, that they make way more money. I want to work with the people who want to learn new things. I want to work with people who want to take their business to the next level. I want to work with people who believe that there is business out there for them and that there is more business out there for them. I don't want to work with people who have this defeatist mindset. I know my business. I know that my business is only this small. I know my business is never going to be more than this small. I don't really want to work with that, Again, a lot of how your business works and a lot of how your business expands and how successful it gets is going to be based on the energy that you let into it. I'm not trying to get on some karmatic, silly spiritual horseradish here. I'm trying to get across a very practical point. This person has a negative defeatist mindset. If I work for him, I am going to be around his negative defeatist mindset. I'm going to be reading his negative defeatist emails, listening to his negative defeatist phone calls, and having these negative defeatist conversations at industry events. I don't want that to be a part of my mindset. I don't want that to be around me while I'm trying to build something based on positivity and a can-do mindset. So I choose to let that go. And again, could I make hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars off of this? Yes. Is it worth it? No. Because again, I'm very focused. I'm focused on positivity, I'm focused on success, and I'm focused on a can-do attitude. So yeah, don't get yourself into this horse shit where you say, I know my business, I know this. And again, I meet so many people. I meet so many people that are like, I was thinking of getting into this, but nobody sends it to me. Nobody asked me for that. And, and I'll look on their website, and that's not even a service they offer. Like, they say, I would do this, but nobody sends me iPads. And I look on their website, and it says laptop repair, laptop repair, laptop repair, cell phone repair, laptop repair. And it doesn't say you do iPad repair. Of course. And then they say, well, it's not worth investing in advertising or changing the site for it because nobody's coming for it. But nobody's coming for it because you're not advertising it. Like, what the fuck? It's just a dumbass circle of shit. And again, I don't want to get involved with that. Again, if you are negative and defeatist, I wish you the best of luck in your little negative and defeatist world. Just don't bring that shit to me, and don't make excuses for why you don't want to do something. Fix it. I don't want to deal with that crap. And again, I do deal with people who say, I don't want to learn laptop motherboard repair. I don't want to learn this or that, the other, because I am busy doing other things and building other things in my business to make me money. And I don't have the time to focus on this. I want to focus on all these other things. That's great. At least you're not in this little negative defeatist mindset where you're saying, I know I'm never going to have more than this amount of customers for this, when this is a big part of what your business actually is. Again, like, I'm okay with, let's say, if I say, I know I'm not going to get 50 I know I'm not going to get 50 of those little $60 tablets in a fix, so I don't want to learn how to fix it. Because that's actually practical. But when you own like an iPhone repair business and there's like one of the most basic repairs there is besides the screen or the battery, yeah, you really do, you should know how to do that. And if you don't know how to do that, at the very least you should accept the fact that you can get more than like 2 or 4 of these a month, just based on the fact that this is what you do for a living and this is what people are going to ask you for, based on what you do for a living. So yeah, I ignored all that negative defeatist horse crap. Third, I feel like a piece of garbage. I'm going to edit this in here if I actually do find this woman's name. And again, this is probably due to alcohol, but yeah, I met this very intelligent stay-at-home mom that is just, again, I like meeting people that are not the stereotype. It's interesting to me. She does component-level board repair on iPads and iPods, iPads and iPhones. I don't know if it's iPods as well, from her home. And she's very good at it, and she's become successful and self-taught. And it's really amazing for a couple of reasons, actually a lot of reasons. Let's start with the first one. The first one is the beating the stereotypes thing. I really enjoy meeting people who have kind of just, they don't really fit a mold. They just kind of make a mold for themselves. I like people that do that. I don't like people who try to fit into specific little, groups of people where it's like, I'm unique because I dress the same and look the same and talk the same, and I'm as much of a douchebag as all the other people who are just like me. I'm not into that horse crap, I remember when I started at Avatar Studios, I dressed a very specific way. I'm not saying I was the most professional person in the world, but I dressed very similarly to how I dress right now. And everybody else there was, more the hipster type. They are the... they lean towards hipster, they lean towards liberal. I lean towards, wearing a belt and Dockers to bed and voting for Mitt Romney. So, I was not... And also, I was a lot younger than everybody there. I remember, like, the youngest intern there but me was something like, I would say something like 25, 26 years old. And I was 17. So I don't fit the mold at all, and I have these people that while some of them are being nice to me, some of them are still looking at me like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? What are you doing here? You don't really belong here. And there's that kind of implication, and that implication, it does something. That implication, that honestly, it really does kind of affect your work ethic. And I'm talking to this, very, very nice, bubbly kind of stay-at-home mom. Kind of, she looks kind of like what you would expect for a New York stay-at-home mom. And she's telling me, yeah, I'm walking up to the booths and all of them are looking at me like, oh, so you want to look at the cases? You want to look at the cases? Maybe you're interested in this, that, and the other? And, she's not. She wants to talk with people about their scientific method to liquid damage repair and how they do it so that they can have a higher volume of work when doing board level repairs. And she's telling me they're just looking at her like, yeah, okay, because they didn't expect it. And I instantly connected because I know how that feels. I know when people are kind of looking at you funny, like, why are you here? You don't belong here. What are you doing here? Again, I was working in a recording studio fixing gear. Not only did I look different than everybody else, and by the way, I don't play an instrument, and I didn't play an instrument back then, but let me tell you, I was pretty fucking good at what I did. Like, you know, I was doing things that other people did not want to do. I mean, reconing 40-year-old speaker systems, finding issues in 45-year-old consoles, like taking apart equalizers from 1951 and putting them back together. I was pretty good. But I didn't fit the mold, and you know, people have this expectation, and when they have that expectation, they look at you and like, what do you? And they just give you that look, that feeling, that what are you doing here look. You know, it really does kind of start to wear on you after a while, and it was very clear that this woman had no intention of letting it wear on her, and then that type of positive attitude, again, the positivity that I saw from her made me more interested in actually having a conversation, rather than, you know, listening to the person who's all, you know, little Eeyore, sad panda, wah, over, I can't get more than this amount of business. And that was pretty cool. The second part of it was that she's a woman. And there are all these, I don't know if it's like a chicken or the egg thing, there are all these people that talk about how women in tech, you know, the tech industry as a whole is kind of crapped on women, the jobs are not available, most of it is, you know, male-dominated field. I really can't say which, how this started, because I wasn't around in the beginning of the era, and I'm also not a woman, so I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I can only speak from my experience. From my experience, when I'm dealing with a new technology or something that's a pain in the ass or a technically related problem that I want to solve, what I find is that the women that I work around, on average, are, while they may be more intelligent than me, but they are also more willing to give up on a problem than a man is, and when that man may very well be less intelligent. Like, the guy is going to keep digging and kind of try to find the answer to the solution. While the woman, I don't know why, just because, maybe it's because, I don't know if it's how we're wired differently as genders, or if it's just that society is kind of beaten to our head that the men are the techs and the women are, you know, the not. But they just seem like they are not as interested in solving the problem as the men are. And I don't really think it's how we're wired. You know, a lot of people say, you know, men are wired one way, women are wired another. I don't think it's that way. I think it's that however society treated, you know, whatever societal norms came to be the norm, it just kind of became accepted over time that men are the techs and women are not, which is why they feel okay with giving up a little too soon on a problem when it comes to technically related issues. And I find this to be personally a complete fucking shame, because again, I've met ridiculous amounts of women that are far more intelligent than me, and I don't want that. I don't want them giving up on the problem. I don't want to hire a male who's a dumbass just because he's willing to sit there for 2 hours to find the problem that the female may find in 10 minutes because she's intelligent, but she doesn't find it because she just, you know, gives in to the societal norm that, you know, women are just not as tech-oriented as men are. Again, I don't like that. I want women to be more tech-oriented. I want women to say, you know what, there's no reason that I can't find these problems faster than men. I want more women in tech. I want there to be a bigger hiring pool. Just out of sheer selfishness as an employer. Not even because, you know, I'm a big advocate for women's rights or equal rights. I'm just speaking as an employer. I've talked about on this channel how hard it is to find good help, how miserable it is to find people that know what the fuck they're doing, how hard it is to find people that just use their brain. So if more women enter the field, if more women get out of this silly stereotype that most likely men have perpetuated against them, that, you know, men are techs and the problem solvers and women are not, I would have a larger hiring pool, which would mean that I can get more talent, which means that I can grow my business faster, which means I can make more money, which means I can stay in a nicer hotel next time. And again, all better for me. Yes, and again, so this person is, you know, stay-at-home female who is, and one of the things that I made sure to get across to her is, I said this like at the beginning of the conversation, I said, you realize that from what you've explained to me, you are ahead of 99% of the repair shops in the country. I don't mean just like the little mom and pop places. I don't mean just the places that know how to do nothing other than replace the screen on an iPhone and nothing but replacing the battery on a MacBook. I don't mean just that. I mean literally every like 99% of the motherfuckers that do this, whether they're small or large-scale refurbishing facilities, you are ahead of them. just because you use your brain. And I was listening to the how she uses analytical problem solving, and it really inspired me because it kind of reminded me of when I finally figured out how to start doing stuff right after a long period of doing it wrong. You know, she would have a problem, and it wasn't even that it was economical to solve it. It didn't make sense. She was telling me, you know, I'm lifting my toilet off using a jack or something and digging in it to get this old-ass phone and that I wasn't even able to fix. It wasn't that it was economical to solve her problem. It was just not knowing how to solve it pissed her off so much. Just knowing there must be a solution out there, but I don't have the solution. That pissed her off enough to figure it out on her own. And that was pretty cool. That was amazing. That was inspiring. And my dad had said that I have been wired, you know, somewhat the same way, that I waste so much goddamn time trying to fix shit and figure out problems that are not practical, or it doesn't really make sense for me to waste all the time figuring it out. But when I get something in my head, it pisses me off so much that I don't have the answer, that I will, you know, go through hell and, you know, and do whatever it is that is necessary to come up with the solution, to figure it out, even if it doesn't make economical sense to do so, even if it makes no sense of any kind to do so, because that's just who I am. And I've learned to start trying to channel that towards areas where it is economically feasible, where it may make or will make me money. And she would say, you know, I get to a point where I said, okay, I figured out everything, but now I don't know how to do this. And that just pissed her off, so she let me just figure out how to do this, and then she did. And, you know, before you know it, this is like a board-level repair center that, again, is better than 99% of the iDevice repair shops in the country. And it's being run out of, like, a kitchen. And that says a couple of things. A, you all need to step your game up. B, you all need to start using your brain a little more. Because, again, you can use your brain to figure out these problems. You can say, I'm tired of there being no solution to this. Let me remove all the excuses in the way. Don't be like Mr. Excuses, Mr. Eeyore guy from the beginning, that's telling me why he's never going to get enough business, why it's never going to be worth it to learn. Get that shit the fuck away from me. Because even if that's true, even if it's not worth it right now, it will be worth it in the future. And when you figure out that it's worth it to have that skill set, and you gain that skill set just based on curiosity, then you're going to be ahead. You're going to be making money while, again, Mr. Negative is going to be fucked, pretty much. And that's important. And, you know, we had a good talk and discussion about that. And, again, it makes me sick that I forgot the name. And the other thing that I realized, I remember, because I said I actually commented on your post, I looked at your prices, and again, I don't directly compete with this, because when somebody has an iPad or an iPhone motherboard repair problem, I say, go away. I want nothing to do with that. As long as I have a stack of laptop boards where people are paying $200 to $400 to have them fixed, I can't really fuck with this like $50 to $100 board stuff. Again, I will do tons of repairs where the profit is only $20 to $40. I'm just not picking up a soldering iron to do them. I'm just not. I'm not picking up a microscope. I'm not picking up. I'm not opening a schematic in a window. I'm not doing that for that level of money. And I saw the prices, and I swear I almost wanted to hire myself as that. I'm trying my best tonight to not be interviewing myself. Or trying to talk myself into an interview to be this person's agent for free for a month, or repair salesperson. Let me let you know what I mean by that. I hired a excellent salesperson. His name is Steve. You probably speak to him when you call on the phone. He is amazing. He is a boss. He treats people the way they need to be treated, but he makes them feel good every step of the process. He makes sure that you feel good and excited about everything you're having done here. You never feel like you're not being helped. But he also makes sure that stuff is fair for me. Let me explain how this works. I, as a technician, as somebody who enjoys solving problems, I enjoy solving problems. So occasionally I will solve a problem, and nobody will know how to do this. They will be, nobody will know how to do this, and they'll all be outsourcing it to some other company, and they'll all be charging their customers $425, and I'll figure out how to solve this problem. And it'll take me 3 minutes of time. And I'll just charge somebody like $30 or $50, and he'll look at me and go, "You're not doing that again. You're not, and you're not talking to people either. I'm not." And who will close the door in my face and just tell me to go away and talk to people? Because these jobs will be jobs where there's $150, $250, $350 easy, and you're still hundreds of dollars cheaper than places that offer no warranty. And I was giving this stuff away for like 30, 50 bucks just because, And, and there are also times where I will spend 3, 4, 5, 7, 9 hours on a problem when there's a cap as to how much money I can make if I even solve it. And, he'll walk over to me on occasion and he will pull things off of my table and put other stuff on that's going to make me money. He'll say, you are not working on this anymore. And, I'm his boss. I'm his employer. I can fire him, and he's treating me like he's my boss. And that's an important concept. Service writers at car dealerships do this on occasion, and it's really important to have somebody like that at your shop for you if you as an owner are purely a technician. If you are purely a technician who just derives enjoyment from solving problems and helping people, you are going to run into times where you are spending 6, 7, 8, 9 hours on a problem, and you're going down this little rabbit hole to hell where you never solve them. And that doesn't help anybody. I'm going to link to this video by Eli, the computer guy, on the rabbit hole to hell. I don't want to derail this video too much by talking about it. Just watch it when you can. It's really good. But it's easy to get derailed in this little rabbit hole to hell where you're not really going to make any money, where there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but you just want to keep solving the problem and it keeps pissing you off. And you also get into this thing where you want to help people and you want to try to do the right thing, and you want to charge a fair price, and you wind up charging like $300 less than the rest of the country, and you can't do that. The people who are charging $300 or $400 more than you, and I'm not saying you should charge the exact same thing, but their marketing budget is going to be based on that income. Everything they're doing to try to acquire a new business, to grow their business, which may crush yours, is going to be based on that income that they're making that you're not. And you have to be thinking about that if you're a business. You have to be thinking about, I spend $200 a month on marketing right now. They spend $30,000 a month on marketing right now, and they're right next door. Is that coming from the fact that they charge 14 times more than me, and people are happy to pay it? These are all things to be thinking about. So yeah, he does act as a buffer, and I really didn't understand the way he felt when I would give my time away for things that were just ridiculous, or when I would spend hours trying to solve these problems that were asinine, until I heard somebody else going through it, and I kind of wanted to do the same thing for them. I kind of wanted to say, okay, first things first. This whole $45 thing, like, the only thing I want you to do for $45, honestly, I actually can't think of anything that I would want this woman to do for $45, other than like me. $45 consultation fee is all I can think of. I mean, again, she's a genius. I mean, she's a genius. I hope she knows it. But and the other thing that he does is, there'll be something that everybody else is doing that I'm not doing, and he'll ask me like, "Do you do this?" And I'll just say no, and I won't even provide a reason as to why I don't do it. I'll just say no, and he'll say, "Well, why don't you do this?" And I won't have an answer, and he'll say, "I want you to see if you can do this." Steve will walk over to me and say, "Tell me if you can do this." And then I say, "You know what? I can do this." And then instead of telling people, "No, I'm sorry, we can't help you with that," he then tells them, "Yes, I can help you with that. That'll be $300. And that's another reason it's important to work with other people sometimes, because you get this feedback and you get this kind of relationship going. And when she told me the things that she know how to do, and she tells me, I'm a molecular geneticist or something like that, but I don't work on laptop motherboards. Again, the same way that Steve feels when I say I don't do this and here's why, when that's something that I'm very capable of doing, I kind of had going off in my mind. It's like, okay, you are clearly a genius at what you do, and you have a brain. Your brain functions, and you're able to find solutions to problems, but you're ignoring this whole segment of the market where there's a ton more money. Anyway, that was pretty cool. There was great value in having somebody who would look and say, "Can you do this?" And I would say, I know I probably could, but I never would have tried had you not asked me. Let me try. And then I do it. And then I let him price it and deal with people instead of letting me price it and deal with people. Because again, technicians do this silly thing where they're either just ripping people off like ridiculously, or once they find it to be easy, they charge people based on how easy it is. And that is a complete can of worms in and of itself. Let me explain how this works. In this business, actually not in this business, in IT in general, and maybe even outside of IT, people don't actually see what we do as work. They see what we do as ripping them off. Because they don't believe that there's a skill set that's required to actually do these jobs. They don't think that I spent, hundreds upon hundreds of hours learning so that I could do the repairs that I do. And they don't think that I spent money on the tools that I had to, kill myself to get. No, they just think that I'm like waving this little set of, fucking hooker beads over, I'm just waving this over their stuff, and I just make it work again. And then I'm charging them hundreds of dollars. And they think that I'm just laughing my way to the bank over how I fucked them. So the way that the average consumer gets back at this perceived injustice is by not paying or finding ways out of paying. So it's like, ha ha ha, look at what I did. I got my way out of paying the bill. And again, even good consumers, good, kind-hearted, intelligent, good human beings who care about others will do this because it's a perceived injustice to them that they're even being charged. Because again, they think that I'm just waving these hooker bees that I got from some dumbass at a Dick's Last Resort who wanted me to take a picture and charge me $30 for it. They just think I'm waving these fucking beads over and just making it work again. It's not that I actually put work in. It's not that I had to learn anything. It's not that I had to buy tools. No, I just know how to do this. And woo, there we go. And so so what they do to get back is they try to pay as little as possible. And technicians will sometimes preempt this by saying, I know, okay, they're right. And this was easy for me. And that's the thing. You're not judging it based on how easy it was for you, before 80 hours of training, before 80 hours of fucking with it, before saving up $6,000 to buy the tools that you needed to do that job. You're judging it based on how easy it is now at the end of the line. And that's not where the customer is. You need to be charging based on where it is for them. Because for whatever they can say about easy and this, that, and the other, just put the tools in front of them and try to get them to do the work and just watch as they fail. And again, you'll realize why it is that you charge a fail rate for it. So anyway, as I was saying, it's good to have somebody who's going to push you towards learning the other jobs. It's good to have somebody who tells you, listen, I know you want to charge this price, but everybody else is charging something up here where you can't even see it. So maybe instead of charging this, maybe you could charge this, just so that, And again, it really does, it does change things. It does help things along, and I'm glad to have somebody who does that for my business. And what I was kind of just listening to this whole conversation, and I was starting to understand how Steve feels when I give away things for dumb amounts of money, or when I, say, well, this is easy, that's why I did it for that much. And like, I'll wind up saying something like, it was only Q9706 was shorting the ground because the signal wasn't present. And he'll just like cut me off mid-sentence and just go, $300. Like, just get the fuck out of here with that whole, like, just give it to them for $20 bullshit. And again, on some level, it is kind of bullshit, because I start buying the crap that people feed me on why they should pay nothing, and that comes from the perception that I'm just waving a little magic wand and fucking them over and laughing my way to the bank with it, without actually putting in the blood, the sweat, and the tears to learn how to do the work. So over the course of this conversation, I kind of started to understand how Steve feels, and how the salesperson feels. And I also started to realize the importance of having a salesman that works with you, where there's some synergy between how you work and how you think, and how they work and how they think, because it is important to have a bit of a team. It would be cool to be able to do that for this person. But yeah, CTIA was interesting all around. The event was honestly, the event, I gotta say, was kind of boring, but I did wind up meeting a few interesting people. And again, I didn't come out here just for the event. I didn't come out here just with one specific goal in mind. I came out here with the idea that I'm going to keep my mind open. I'm going to talk to people that seem to interest me. I'm going to talk to people that interest me for good reasons. I'm going to talk to people that interest me for negative reasons. And I like keeping my brain working. I like keeping it thinking, and I like keeping it active. And I like having new thoughts come about my head. And that happens just by putting yourself out there and meeting people and talking to people. And it's something that you should be doing as well. It's not just, I'm coming here to see a show. It's not. It really isn't. It's not that you're coming here to see a show. The show, again, frankly, as I said, was half of those exhibits. I didn't even know what the fuck they did. The exhibits where I did know what they did, it was really just, again, tits trying to sell me iPhone screens. And And that's not really what I came here for. I came here for the greater collective experience so that I could meet people who do the same thing and start thinking about and really honing in on what it is that makes us competitive, what it is that we're doing wrong so that I could learn how to be more competitive in the future. And also, admittedly, yes, for a vacation. So that's pretty much it. And, you know, if you actually got this far along, thank you for watching. And also, again, to all the people who said that they've actually watched this channel and that it's helped them at some point in their life, that really does make it worthwhile. And again, I do really appreciate that you're watching this. And I don't want you to think for one single solitary second that there's anything that separates your business from mine. If there's anything that makes you less successful just because you're less recognized, or just because you have less Yelp reviews, or just because you make a little less money, I assure you, all of that is going to come in time and then some. And there is really very little that's actually standing in between you making a lot more than we are and where you are right now. And again, for all you know, again, you don't know my QuickBooks. You may make a lot more than I do right now. You know, I'm meeting these people where they're like, I don't have a business that's anything like yours. And again, the negativity, get that out of there. You have to believe that you are taking over the world. You have to believe that your business is always taking over the world. You have to be putting that image out there, and you got to keep that in your head. Again, if you're failing, don't lie to yourself and say that you're doing amazing when you're not. But if you are growing and doing new things and learning new things and you're making money, you're taking over the world. Keep that in your mind so that it actually winds up happening. Again, there's a funny way that things just kind of wind up happening when you think about them all the time and you will them to happen. Things kind of work out that way. So yeah, that's pretty much it.